Okay, let's see what's on YouTube today. Who's Cameron Haynes?
Yes! And we're live, Cam Haynes. We just got back from an epic elk hunt in the mountains of Utah.
Did. I think people throw around epic a little loosely.
They do.
Not this time.
Not this time.
No. And they got some big bucks.
Yeah, they do have big bucks.
Yeah.
Who is this Chris B guy?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I shot the biggest buck in my life. Yes! Yes!
Truett killed one last year. I killed two.
Nice.
But yeah, it's free range.
Who's John Dudley? I'm gonna get a bow. Gentlemen, the one lady who's gonna see this, and who can forget about the guys who make their girlfriends listen to the Cameron Haynes audiobook in the car. If that's you, don't worry. I was there one time. That girl's actually my fiance now. So there is hope. If you guys are arguing and she just wants to listen to Taylor Swift, just tell her it's because you're gonna marry her and she will hopefully understand. In all seriousness though, guys, I hope you liked that intro there. A little funny skit to start things off. But in all reality, it goes hand in hand with the video today, which is a video that I've wanted to make for a long time, because the more that I reflect on it and the more that I realize where I started in archery, the more I've wanted to make this video. And the video today, I guess I should say the title, is gonna be the 3 things that I think you should know going into archery, or the 3 tips I would give going into archery if you are just starting off. This isn't, a form video or equipment video or anything like that. These are just guidelines or, something that I would recommend to you guys if you're starting your great journey down the rabbit hole of archery. Looking back all those years ago when I got into archery, if I could go back in time and tell young Josh these tips, I do think that my archery experience would be elevated a little bit more than it is right now, if not substantially more. So make sure you guys stick around, listen to all the tips, tell me which one is your favorite. If you guys are just starting off in archery and maybe it's your first month or your first week, or maybe you just got a bow today and you're watching this video, or if you're thinking about getting into archery, which really, this first tip really applies to you if you haven't actually picked up your equipment yet. But regardless, if you are new to archery, go ahead, comment down below what got you into archery. Go ahead, comment what setup you end up going with or setup you went with to get into archery, your bow, arrows, release, the whole shebang. And if you guys are one of my returning viewers and you have shot archery for a while, or this is your first time seeing one of my videos and you have shot archery for a while, go ahead and comment down below what your first setup was. Myself, I shot a Hoyt Power Max shooting 60 pounds, and that actually ties in to tip number 1 here. So let's hop right into the video and I'll tell you the story of my first bow. So as the intro might suggest, a long time ago, pre-COVID, Josh saw a Cameron Haynes hunting video and was absolutely hooked. That dude got me hook, line, and sinker. I watched the Joe Rogan podcast that he was on. I was Cam Haynes' #1 fan for about a week and a half before I decided to go get a bow. And little old me, I marched into Shields with a wad of cash in my hand and demanded to buy a Hoyt bow. And then I saw the price of the Hoyt flagship bows, and teenage Josh was not having that at all. So I looked down the shelf and saw the Hoyt Power Max and went ahead and picked that thing up, to the dismay of the Shields employee who, looking back, really was trying to lead me the right way, because there was a flagship bow that was used and it was like 2 years old that was on the rack for about the same price. And I wish I got that instead of the Hoyt Power Max. But that Power Max was a Hoyt, and Cameron Haynes shot a Hoyt, so Hoyt was the best brand on the planet to me at the time. So I had to have it. So tip number 1 is, in short, not doing that, but going into your first bow buying situation with a plan. And this exceeds just going into your bow buying situation, but when you're just starting off with archery, when you're getting equipment, when you're kind of building up that stockpile of things that you're gonna use for archery, for hunting, anything like that, have a plan. Don't just go in with bias, don't just go in and splurge purchase, because I can tell you personally, anything that I have bought within my first year of hunting that was just kind of a splurge purchase that I thought I was going to use, and it was the coolest thing on the planet to me because I saw it in some video or I saw it in some magazine or I read about it, I don't use anymore. It's not just something that I upgraded out of, but most of the time it is quite literally equipment that I did not need, so I don't have it anymore. I either gave it away or I sold it or I just threw it away. If you are still within your first 18 months of getting into archery, take a long, hard look at equipment that you are gonna purchase, research it, find out what you actually need, and go from there. Make that decision once you are well informed of it, especially when you're getting ready to buy a bow. If you are going in and you have a brand in mind to get a bow, that's nice. You can know what brands people like, but I would not go into a situation thinking that you're gonna buy a specific brand of bow. Determine your price range, whether it be budget or if you wanna go flagship for your first bow, and shoot every bow in that price range. Your pro shop will understand. They set up way more bows than you can imagine in a day. So if you are going in to shoot as many bows as you can, maybe call ahead, have a couple bows picked out that you wanna try out, and leave any bias at the door. Don't just think that because Crispy shoots a Matthews or John Dudley shoots a PSE or Cam Haynes shoots a Hoyt that you have to go with one of those brands. You might really love a Bowtech. Well, you probably won't, but I'm joking. They're great bows. But you might really like a Bowtech, you might really like a Bear, you might really like a bow that you might not have heard of. So go into your purchase with a plan, but with an open mind at the same time. If you are going into something with the thought of, well, this person shoots this, so I have to get this, you're wrong. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's John Dudley or Crispy or Cameron Haynes or your best friend from your childhood who's been shooting for 5 years and is getting you into it. You're wrong if you think you need to use a specific brand because someone else uses it. That is tip one. Go into it with a plan. That's short and sweet. It's very simple, but it's probably the biggest one. It's gonna save you the most grief. The second tip really kind of goes into it as well, because when you are forming that plan and when you are researching equipment, when you are finding out what you want to get into in your archery journey, this second tip comes into play very, very much so, and that is be a filter, not a sponge. I don't know if you've noticed this when you're getting into archery, but for the small group that we are, we have a whole bunch of opinions, and oftentimes we don't agree with each other, and it gets to a contentious point. And there are players on both sides that are going to sell and market their idea as the best thing. So taking in that information and determining what is actually true and what might just be marketing and making smart decisions based off of that is gonna save you a lot of time. This isn't just with purchases. This isn't just with, equipment that you're getting marketed that you're gonna buy. This is with, training ideologies, with hunting methods, with anything like that. Be realistic, be objective with what you're looking at and determine from there. Let's take the arrow situation as an example, which if you are just getting into archery and you haven't heard about light and heavy arrows, boy, do you have something to look forward to. So being objective in this, not picking a side or anything. Let's say you are listening to somebody who is preaching a super heavy arrow build, an 800 grain arrow that you should hunt with and you should use. And you have somebody who is preaching a 350 grain arrow that you should hunt with and you should use. Look at both those people. Before you make a decision and before you go to one end of the extreme, realize that, first of all, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And also, look at both sides of that. Is one person selling a kit that is designed to, make a heavy arrow and to make your arrows heavier? And, it would make sense that they make money off of people making heavy arrows, and they're associated with, companies that make money off of making heavy arrows. And is the other person on the light end of the arrow doing the same thing? Look at that and determine, first of all, if there is marketing or if there is a monetary gain behind what they're preaching. If there is, you can still look at that, you can still get some information off of them, but I wouldn't take it to heart too much because at the end of the day, they're gonna be biased on that. Once you have that determined, look at the trends and look at the top performers in your field to really kind of see what you should do and see what you should model off of. Now, that's not with everything. There's obviously some very unorthodox people in, competitive archery and in hunting archery who are very successful that it's not going to work out for everybody if they try to mimic them. But if you have people who are absolute killers and they have a ton of kills underneath their belt, and they've all used a very similar type of arrow, they've all used a very similar weight of arrow, and their performance is pretty consistent across the board as far as them saying, hey, this type of arrow performs very well. This is the type of arrow that I like because of X, Y, Z. And they can give you field reports with that, not just looking at a spreadsheet and looking at numbers and, having a certain type of animal in a very controlled setting that is shot. Not just that, because in all reality, numbers can be skewed. The separation in numbers and the separation data can be skewed to appear greater than what it is and greater than the actual difference that it makes. But look at the in-field results. Don't just soak up everything that you read and take it to heart and take it as gospel right away. Have a filter in you and filter out what you don't think is really true and what you do think is true. Make a decision on your equipment and then go from there. And the most important thing is being confident in whatever you pick. Confidence is going to be key on any equipment base. It doesn't matter if you go heavy arrows or light arrows. If you're confident in your arrow system, that is going to be more important than anything. And this is just arrows that I'm talking about as the example. It can go with anything. It can go with bow brands, withdraw weight, whether you want to go heavy or light, anything like that. Just be confident with the equipment that you choose. So you've done your research, you've gone into things with an open mind, but decided what you want to go with, and it's actually time to put rubber to the road and get into hunting season, get into practicing, get into whatever stage of archery you're in. This is where tip number 3 comes in. You can go at it alone, you can go at it solo, and maybe that's the only option you have. But if you can do things with other people, if you can find accountability and find a group in the archery space, that is going to help you become a better archer way faster than just looking at videos and doing stuff solo is. Like anything else, when you have accountability, you are much more likely to succeed and you're much more likely to improve if you have someone there to hold you accountable. So if you know somebody who hunts, if you are trying to get somebody into hunting and they finally get into it, if you can find a group to shoot with, if you want to join an archery club, whatever it is, if you can shoot with other people, practice with other people, you guys are both going to improve together. And honestly, competition is going to be the best form of improvement. Iron sharpens iron. There's so many sayings that are very similar to this for a reason. It's very true. It is not only true on the practice side if you're looking to improve your game, but also when you actually get in the red zone and it is hunting season, it is very true on the hunting side of things. If you could pick whether to go out in the mountains by yourself or go out on the plains by yourself or go out in the woods by yourself, whatever type of hunting you're doing, and be solo or have a good friend next to you that is of the same mind, that has the same mentality, and is going to hunt with you as hard as you, I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you would probably pick to hunt with a partner. Not just from a mentality standpoint, not just from a work ethic standpoint, but also, in all honesty, with hunting from a financial standpoint. If you have 2 guys or 2 girls going in together on a hunt and building that plan together and financially, contributing, it opens up the possibilities for hunts way more than just trying to do things solo, than trying to pay for a hunt solo. If you have 2 guys sharing the load like Sam and Frodo, you guys are going to be a lot more successful than if it was just one person trying to go at it alone. This is kind of, mushy gushy, but also from a friendship standpoint, you really discover who your best friends are and you really make the strongest bonds when you are out hunting, in my opinion, because it's a hard thing to do, it's challenging, and when someone is out in uncomfortable conditions, when they're challenged, when they're facing adversity, that is when their true self comes out, and that is when you understand who is your friend. Honestly, from a personal standpoint, being out and hunting in harsh conditions and being out in adversity in a hunting scenario made me realize who my best man's gonna be. Being out in hunting situations and going out and hunting out west in Nebraska made me realize who my wife is gonna be. You really discover who your best friends are when you're out hunting. There is a bond that you share in the woods with people that is unexplainable. You really cannot describe it until you experience it. So I very much so encourage you to find somebody, if not to improve, just to experience that type of friendship. Another thing that I realized out in the woods personally is just how much I appreciate doing this, making YouTube videos, and just how much I appreciate you guys watching this. Whether you are a first-time viewer and you're getting into archery like this video is directed towards, or whether you're one of my regular viewers, you guys know you're awesome, but I always like telling you, I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. I really appreciate all the support, you know, your guys' likes, your guys' comments, anything like that. It really makes my day. It encourages me to make these videos, and the channel is growing more and more. I think we're finally starting to kind of hit that exponential curve where we're not just kind of chipping away at the growth of the channel. We're actually hitting it and growing pretty fast. So if you guys are helping me grow, go ahead and continue to do so. Like this video, comment down below whether what your new setup is or what your first setup was. Subscribe to the channel, keep up to date on all the videos, do all the good YouTube stuff. And if you are not already doing that, if you guys are watching this for the first time, I would strongly urge you to do the same. Do all the good YouTube stuff, and in all honesty, just give me a chance. Maybe you liked this video and you want to stick around for more, and maybe the next video is going to upset you. You don't know, but I just ask that you give me a chance with one more video. I really appreciate all the support. I appreciate your guys' time. Your time is valuable, whether you guys are watching this in bed or on the toilet or on your lunch break, anything like that. I appreciate it. I really, really hope that you guys found something valuable out of this video. Until I catch you guys in the next one, I hope you have an absolutely blessed day, and we will see you later.